What's that? Good evening, and welcome to the Abington Conservation meeting. Today is Monday, March 26th, and up first is old business. First will be a continuing hearing on file number 84519, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Abington Investments, LLC, 245 Central Street, Abington, to confirm wetlands resource area located at 1015 Plymouth Street. Okay.
Hey, Jerry?
Yeah.
Did you recuse yourself the last time from this one?
Pardon?
Can you sit on this one?
I just asked you.
Okay. All right, good. Good.
And I reviewed it on TV.
Nance, I don't know if at the last meeting, if the green cards were all, I don't know if you want them or not. Cal Garvey, representing Abington Investments on a piece of,
Plan, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. Hopefully you
Did you see? Basically, we filed an ANRAD for a wetland delineation on property at Bedford Street, on Plymouth Street, excuse me. The wetland delineation in the ANRAD was prepared by Pinebrook Consulting. In her report, the BVW she delineated was wetland flags number A1 through A26. She also delineated a second line, B through B22. Based on that wetland flag, we went out and we located those flags, did a topography of the site, and proceeded to file the abbreviated notice of delineation. The future work for this site is really going to take place in the back area of the property. The wetland delineation that we're asking the board to approve is these lines. When and if we file a notice of intent and we extend that line, it would be on a notice of intent. Obviously, anything we do here would be within a buffer zone. There may be some access from Plymouth Street and utilities. At one time was planned through the back, but any development of the site that we're designing around is in the back of the property. And we did.
This is going to be access way in, correct? Because you don't own that property. That's town property over there.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to come in here. So what the problem was last time was we didn't see where, this isn't like a complete line. We don't know where this, it kind of ends. We don't know whether it goes right back in, goes out that way.
Well,
and that was the question, because we're approving, your wetlands delineation so you can go design the work.
yeah, and that's what, and I'm requesting that the board, as in some other towns, they actually only approve flag numbers, okay? That's all we're asking this board to do. We also submitted.
Can I just ask, why aren't you just finishing the line? I mean, it seems like it's dumb. You're going to cost them money not knowing where that line ends.
Well, to be honest with you, we're not planning on doing any development in here or in here.
So where does but you're going to does the wetland flag come right back in?
Well,
or does it go back out?
Well,
we don't know.
Included in that was the DEP wetland change map that shows it going off the site. However,
it's not on your plan, and that's what we're approving, correct?
Well, no, you're actually approving the wetland delineation as shown, and that's what I'm requesting that you do.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're.
It doesn't make any sense, Carl. I mean, I'm sorry, but it doesn't make any sense.
When we file a notice of intent, we have the right to continue this line.
But we're approving that that's where the wetlands line ends on that property right now.
No, oh, absolutely not. No, you're not. You're only A lot, I mean, Brooke, who flagged the site, is the conservation agent for the town of Carver. I talked to her. She says, Cal, we have hundreds of them that come in, only partial flagging of a site, especially in our Cranberry Bog area down there. They don't flag the whole site.
But this is going to be where the limits of work are. I don't understand why.
And obviously, we have to file a notice of intent because we will be within a buffer zone. And at that time, we will probably continue it. Right now, with snow cover on the ground, you can't accurately depict a wetland at this time of year. And all we're asking you to do is, because 99% of our development is right here, is to approve this line. So that's basically what we're requesting the board to do.
Do you guys understand my point?
I understand.
No,
Kathy,
I'm not asking you. I'm asking these guys.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure that. Do you understand my
Well,
point?
you just said that they're gonna continue the line.
No, we're going to approve this line that goes to nowhere.
Just the flag numbers, that's all we're
Just-
approving, just the
that's-
flag numbers.
But we are, but there has to be some understanding here that when it comes back, that, you know, he's put.
Well, but he just said,
I-
when it comes back, that'll be extended and satisfied.
Well, I don't understand what the point of this.
This
line
is, no, I mean, this is very similar to what we do in the town of Rockland when Nova Armstrong, who was the town
you're not-
consultant. I'm not, Kathy, I'm just saying, they always approve flag numbers. And sometimes they'll disagree with flag numbers. And they'll state that in the report. And on the ANRAD, if you want to, that's all you're approving, are those flags. You can make a note that when a notice of intent is filed, those lines be continued. We have no problem with that. 99.9% of our development of that site is covered. 99.9 to 100% of the work that's being done here is covered within that wetland delineation. If some other project was going to go in here at a later time and the project that we have in mind is scratched, then we would be coming back. This wetland line may, in fact, if you look at the DEP change order map, comes down and through here, but we're not doing anything over there. We have no plans to do anything over there.
Well, would he write in, they're gonna continue those flagging for you, with that?
He's not going to, he's telling us he's not going to do it.
No, I'm telling you, I'm gonna do
Files
it.
with the notice of intent later.
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I've-
next
I've
when they
just
come
never
back in,
seen
it'll
one
be
of
all
these
done, is
before.
that what he's saying?
I've been on this board a long time, before and now. I've been on a long time, and I've never seen one that kind of goes into nowhere. So I'm having a struggle with this one. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Oh, I
There's
understand.
other people on this
I
board.
remember.
But
That's- you have that.
I'm not pleased with this because, you know, usually the intent of one of these abbreviated, the delineations that we have here is so that the developer can go do their work, and we've all agreed now about where the wetlands line are. We can't agree because we don't have the rest of the line. So if they develop at risk if we decide that there's a wetland closer than down here somewhere, and they decide to put the road wider or something, it's on them.
Yeah,
It's just
we would be
bizarre.
working
It's
at our
bizarre
own
to
risk,
me.
but we,
I don't think this represents the entire wetlands delineation of the site, so that's just my issue. And usually we
well,
have it.
this particular line here continues this way. This one here, if you look at the DEP wetland change order map, singles around, there's some uplands over there. We're not even using it, and if for some reason, for some unknown reason, we would come back in on a notice of intent that you people get to review again. That's all we're asking for. We're not trying to, for some reason, Brooke didn't know where the property line was in here and wasn't going to flag over there, and the same up in here. It's not that we're trying to pull a fast one or anything. We're just actually asking that we feel that 99.9 to 100% of our development is within this area here. And that's what we're basically requesting that you do. And my office has done several of these on larger sites where you have a 20-acre, 30-acre parcel, and you're only developing a portion of it, you flag a portion of it. It's done all the
The
time.
difference here is the road is actually gonna go through here.
Well,
You know,
we,
that's the only place the road can go.
but it's going through here, it's not going over here.
Still, you guys can decide what you wanna do.
What would you? Let's put it this, what would you like to?
My opinion is that we should have the rest of the flagging done, but that's my opinion. I'm only one member. You know, you guys have your own opinion.
Would you flag it? Would you flag it?
Yeah, we will continue flagging it if in fact that area comes within 100 feet of our proposed use, because we would be within a buffer zone.
He's asking you if you would flag it now. And the
Well,
answer is
we would
no.
really like to get an answer for the line that we have here now, so we can proceed. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of bad weather, and we just haven't been able to get out there. And the botanist, Brooke, says it's not really fair to be flagging a wetland when there's 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground.
That's understandable, but just to,
I mean, you can put a condition on it that on any future notice of intent that's filed, that the wetland line be continued. We have no problem with that.
yeah, well, you've got to come back when you have those plans all drawn up and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an architect waiting to work on the project and so forth, and we're just, like I say, 99.9% of the work is within this particular area.
Yeah, but
road's 10% of the work.
last meeting, that was asked, and you weren't here, so I said,
Yeah, I wasn't here at the last meeting, I was away, and unfortunately...
Probably didn't realize what Kathy had asked. Jim, what do you think?
Well, looking at it, on the B side of the flags, we have a start and an end. On the A side, we don't. There's a start, but there's nothing that indicates end. I'd like to know where it ends.
So what?
Okay. Gus?
As he said, I'm seeing it as we're just approving the flag numbers themselves, and any further things they'll come back with.
What can we do so that we can?
Well, somebody's got to make a motion if somebody wants to approve it.
I mean, I have a letter that I've prepared just asking you to approve wetland flag A1 through wetland flag 26 and wetland flag B1 through wetland flag B22. I mean, that's what this application is for. We're not asking for you to say that this is an upland or a wetland. We're not asking you to do that. We're not putting you guys on the spot. All we're doing is showing you flags that we want you either to agree with or disagree with. And once again, any additional work would be back to this board with a new report if for some reason we decide to put something over here, which we aren't.
Well, if you're going to put the road in, you're going to have to put in hay bales, so you are going to have to delineate it, or
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
decide where something's going to go.
And we would do
So
that.
and
we will do that on a, we will do that, we will do that.
Yeah, that is definitely
I mean-
what's going to have to happen.
If you want to make that a condition of your approval, that flags A26 get extended at the time of the filing of a notice of intent, we have no problem with that.
Kathy?
We want to make you happy.
Anything else you
I'm not
want?
making the motion. You
No.
That's my
I
letter.
think we're at a point where we just have to make a decision, I
I'll
think,
open
Jerry.
it to the floor.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Yeah, well,
make a decision.
Oh, yeah, we forgot. Maybe we should hear from the audience. Is there anything?
Anybody out there?
I guess, my name's Lisa Miranda, I'm at 1105 Plymouth, I'm a butter to this wetland in this project going on. I guess Kathy is it, right? When we were here a couple weeks ago, you had made it clear that you kind of wanted to see that final line, and I know if this project is going through and they're gonna be using Plymouth Street is a main,
That's
main
correct.
entranceway, right?
That's where we're talking about.
I mean, I have some stuff here, I don't know if that's what they're using for a plan, but someone had given it to me, the road's gonna have to be a little bit wider, probably put 2 cars, put a fire truck, whatever needs to go down there. And based on this sketches, it shows wetlands in the front. but just makes a line, so I don't know how it compares to the actual plan, so.
Well, we have a plan here if you want
to.
to.
Line, because
Yeah.
then what, you do a notice of intent, and then you change, and have to redo the whole wetland lines, then you redo
We-
the project, and then redo the delineation area, because it's very wet back there, anyway.
The narrowest spot is as you come down the hill through this existing cart path that's accessed the old piggery years ago. We may be doing some filling in there, and we are going to be doing some filling in there. It would be less than, we've calculated, it's around 3,000, less than 5,000 square feet. It may be around 3,000 square feet. We'd have retaining walls along the road. But once again, it's probably an area of, a couple hundred feet. Has nothing, obviously, the entryway is up at elevation 116. And this particular area down here is at 80, 89. So it's about a 16-foot drop. So, but that's the only area that we know that we're going to be doing for the project that we're discussing now. The only alteration of a wetland would be in this particular area right here.
That area, the road that you're talking about, it's on a 5,000 acre area. The project that was gonna go back there a few years back, that was a major rebuilding of the road and underneath what was gonna go on there because of the water that goes through there. So it wasn't just that, just a little area of wetland, it was a major concern of the guy that wanted to put something back there. He had to make sure he had, it was gonna cost a lot of money to put the wall and whatever he had to put underneath, it was on these plans, wasn't just a, let's fill it and put a road in, it was a little bit more extensive than that, and they really haven't changed back
Well,
there,
that will
it's
go
still
through
wet.
planning and zoning as well,
Yeah.
correct? This is going to go through planning and zoning? Or-
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it will go through planning and zoning, so the engineers will look at it. The planning has some engineers, so that will probably get looked at again.
Basically, all we're looking at is a determination
Right,
whether
where
we
the
agree
wetlands
with the
are, yeah.
wetlands are. That's all we can do tonight.
Yeah.
And the project she's talking about had buildings up in here. They were putting in, and that, we're not putting anything up
I
here.
don't remember seeing that one, so. SWAT must.
You want to make the motion, ask them to get extra for the mower flag?
Yeah, I would like to I'd like to make a motion to accept the flags
Right.
as
Yes.
noted, on the condition that, in the future, when they file a notice of intent,
They will
they'll, complete the flagging.
flag it as requested by Kathy.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I'm a no.
Against?
I'm a no.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think this one, this is.
Yeah. 3-1 on that vote? Yeah, thank you. Okay, I gotta get to the zone. See you. Thank you.
Next up is a request for a determination filed by Mass Electric Company, 40 Sylvian Road, Waltham, for proposed utility maintenance activities, including 7 utility poles replaced along North Avenue, Adams Street, within the 100-foot buffer zone. Moved up. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Hannah Raditz, and I'm a wetland scientist with Conco Engineers and Scientists. And if it pleases the commission, I can go over a rundown of the project.
Oh, that'd be great.
Go ahead.
All right. So as you said, on behalf of Mass Electric Company, we're submitting this RDA for the proposed utility maintenance activities associated with the 64J1 conversion project, which is occurring on other streets within the town. The purpose of this project is to improve the overall reliability of the electric service delivery in the area. As a part of this project, as you mentioned, 7 utility poles will be replaced within jurisdictional areas. To break that down for our poles within jurisdictional areas, the proposed work along Adams Street will include poles 68, 69, 70, 73, and 74, and then 2 poles on North Avenue being poles 34 and 35. poles 68, 69, 70, 73, and 74 on Adams Street, and poles 34 and 35 on North Avenue, being all the poles, are located within the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. And pole 70 on Adams Street is also located within the 200-foot riverfront area of a USGS mapped perennial stream. Some details on the work. Each pole will be cut at the stub and removed from the ground. The resulting hole will be backfilled if it is not going to be used for the exact location of the replacement pole. If a new hole is required, it will be dug adjacent to the existing pole location. Approximately 6 feet below the surface grade will be the hole for that new pole, and it will be dug with a truck-mounted auger. The disturbed area for the new pole will be minor in nature, approximately 18 inches in diameter, representing the footprint of a typical utility pole at its base. Each utility pole replacement should take no more than a day to complete. The construction associated with this project will be limited to previously disturbed upland areas within the roadway right-of-way, and all areas disturbed during the construction will be restored to their previous conditions to the extent practicable upon the completion of work. And then just rounding everything up, this proposed work is exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act under 310 CMR 10.02 2A2, being activities conducted to maintain, repair, and replace but not substantially change or enlarge existing and lawfully located structures or facilities to provide services for the public. Lastly, erosion controls will be installed between the work area and the resource area, and those will consist of wooden stakes. And in addition, silt socks will be installed for inlet protection along the entirety of the route. That concludes my summary. Are there any questions right away?
All right.
Sorry if I went through that a little fast.
That's fine.
So when you take down the poles, you're just gonna take them right away, or are they gonna, so they won't sit there, nothing will sit there?
There's no staging yard that I know of that's prepared for this, but these poles are owned by Mass Electric, so they won't have to leave them for, say, another company to retrieve.
Okay, good. And, you know, I was looking at your maps.
Page before that.
Yeah.
Talking about natural heritage, I think
Yeah.
I heard earlier.
Yeah,
That's
natural.
before there.
It's before that, and I just wanted to ask about the natural. It's just hard for us to see. Are you in? These poles are all in disturbed areas already.
Yeah,
correct?
so if you look at the photos, that might actually be most helpful. That's at the absolute end of this packaging.
Yeah, I haven't gone through
You can
those.
see from the photos that where these poles are, they're right on the edge of the road, like maybe a foot or two away, or just on the edge of the barrier.
Okay. So if we look at the pole that, sorry, I gotta get the right map out for the natural heritage. Yeah, that was the only thing.
Which one are you looking at, Adams Street, Nancy? I mean,
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah, 74, actually,
I
it's
think these are the
68,
poles that you're
68 and
concerned
69,
about.
I think, yeah. There they are. Oh, they're right at the edge. They're
Yep.
not anywhere in there.
Yep,
That shouldn't be a
generally the
problem.
poles aren't further than 10 feet from the edge of the paved roadway.
Yeah, because if you guys look at this map, the priority, it's right on the edge, and it's the estimated habitat of rare wildlife, but it's on the street, basically. So it's kind of, you know, it's just when you pull off these big, huge maps, they don't always, the picture says more. She pulled these pictures, so they look like they're right on the edge of the street. I can't imagine,
Yeah, and like I
good
said,
to get these poles replaced too.
the disturbance for this will be just over a foot for the whole. And they may leave some soil around the edge of the newly installed pole, because often the soil compacts and they sink a bit. So they'll take that extra soil and use it to pat around the base. And if they don't need to use it because the pole doesn't sink, then they'll clean that up
Okay, great.
before the erosion controls are removed.
Okay. Any questions?
And this is exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act,
Yep.
so what box do you want us, should we be checking on the determination of applicability? Do we just say it's,
If the commission finds that it's not applicable to the Wetlands Protection Act, then it would be a negative determination.
That's all you need from us, yeah, you don't need anything else. All right, I make a motion for a negative determination.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for filing this. It's good for us to know what's going on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice jacket, Nancy.
We have some people that are not, want to come in on old business for a few minutes. Want to say a couple words, guys? I believe everybody knows.
Well,
Why
for
don't they
the
introduce-
record, Rodney and Ellen Powers, 227 Wyman Road.
Okay.
We have 3 chairs, you can all
Yeah.
sit down.
And we saw the meeting on the 12th, and we were land-basted. And
We wanted to make the board aware of a few things just before the site visit. We hear that you're coming to our land, which is fine.
that has
You're more
not
than
been done,
welcome.
correct? The site visit was not done?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No,
All right, that's why I thought it'd be
due
done.
to
in
the
2
weather
weeks.
conditions, as we said.
We would bring
You're
in-
more than welcome to come on to our property to view both sides.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And,
Yeah.
But Mr. Conley needs to recuse himself from this situation.
He's
He
not here.
has,
He's not here.
No, I
know,
mean,
but
on the
even
further
from the
one,
whole,
Yeah.
even anything to do with both properties.
He said in the last thing he only made
He's-
2 or 3 meetings. Well, we got the records.
He's made all the meetings, and he's
They're
also
concerned
charged
us
my
anyway.
husband and me with unlawful warrior trapping, which we were pulled into court and cleared.
He's also
We have a
shown up in
history.
DEP on behalf of Wayne, so he is a close friend, and there is some
Biased,
bias.
so we,
Just to warn the chair that, you know,
Mr. Noonan was on the right line when he talked last time, because this did go to DEP for superseding order, which we all went down and agreed to, and we also went to court with the Abington lawyers present, our lawyers, and Miss Page's lawyers there. And there was an agreement that the plan submitted by Morse would be the plan we go by to reconstruct this property,
And I-
not Mr. Wheatley's.
did you get a copy of those plans?
I don't know if we have a copy.
I'm sorry, as you can tell, that
This-
It's
this-
upsetting. We just want it over.
This
This
is the
is
one
too
that we
long.
all agreed on with DEP, and it's the Morse Engineering one.
Yeah, he did say he changed engineering. He did not submit anything. Please understand, it was a
Okay.
very
it was
informal.
informal.
It was informal, and he did not submit
Right,
anything.
right.
He was asking us,
But I'm saying, according to a court,
yes.
this is what the town agreed with us on, so we would stop and not sue any further.
He's trying to use this process as a backdoor to get out of doing the restoration.
The problem that
Mr.
you...
Wheatley's plans do not have any of the restoration, any of the plantings that he has to do. It also wasn't the final indication. If he does do a new notice of intent because the restoration hasn't been done, he cannot do a new wetland delineation because he's already disturbed the area, and the wetland flag will not be accurate to what it should have been.
The dam that he claims we put up, we go away on weekends, we have a home in New Hampshire that we go up to. The weekend that this really came to a head was July 4th, 2013. We came home and we had a family of coyotes living under our deck. And I had babies in that backyard. We had to put bleach to get them out. And we had to keep that hole open, but it was because he came in and dug with the Kubota and took all the rock and everything that was right up against the
Okay,
fence.
okay, this is what we don't want to get into. We're gonna read a quick statement, just to make you aware of what's going on, and so that you're not lambasted with the notice of intent. We've already contacted DEP as well to ask them about the process, because this is a very uncomfortable situation for everyone involved. The rocks we have placed at the low point of our fence is to keep wildlife from getting underneath the fence. Mr. Page has trespassed on our property not once, not twice, but 3 times, and each time he's removed the rocks that were pre-existing there.
And that's when the trespass sign went up.
Stop. He's also pushed the fence. That's why we knew it was done with the Kubota, because the fence was actually pushed under like this, and we had to push the fence back. We've had to put the rocks back each and every time. We have a legality with the pool to make sure that no kids or anything else can get into our area. The family of coyotes, although they were really cute going down the slide, was very troubling for my parents. We couldn't use our backyard for a good month. When Mr. Page dug out the rocks, by using the Kubota and going like this to grab our rocks, he actually created the low point on his side of the fence where they're having the pooling water. We have rocks stacked up. There is no mortar in between them. There is nothing. It is to slow the force of the water coming off those 3 properties, not to prevent the water from entering into the stream. That's where the water goes. Water's going to reach an equilibrium. But if he hadn't lowered the grade on his side, then they wouldn't have the depression where the water could sit. It's all stemming back from the damage that he has done to his property and not been made to fix. Mr. DeCesar from Mass DEP was actually on our site. We turned around, we brought him around to look at the dam from our side, to look at it from his side. There was no violation letters. They viewed nothing as a problem. It wasn't preventing water flow. As we said, by all means, come to the property, view for yourself. Yes, it is a pile of rocks, but it does not prevent water from going where water needs to go.
I liked it much better before.
And it was also,
Did you
he
say
checked out
that the
some
DEP's
wrong.
been there since our meeting?
No,
No,
they would,
DEP was there when he turned around and quoted this, and he turned around and
Oh, that's
Mr.
right, Jerry,
Page's-
you were at that meeting, correct? Yeah.
I can't remember.
Mr.
Yes,
Mr. Page quoted in the past meeting about 2016. In 2016, when we put the rocks there, DEP was on our side of the fence and his side of the
I
fence.
thought you said they've been there since Wayne was in here. I thought.
No, he did a little.
Nothing has changed since DEP because
they had an anonymous
They
complaint
listed-
on our property for the dam.
Did anybody remember what DEP said to Wayne? Did he say DEP?
Wayne said that DEP said, I asked him, and he said that they didn't say anything about the dam.
He
they
said,
didn't have a problem, we didn't have a violation,
he
we
just
weren't
said they
asked to
didn't say
remove
We
it.
had to do something, the fence wasn't down all the way to the
According
ground
to our
yet.
notes,
Oh,
his
yeah.
superseding order of conditions had expired with the DEP, and he was told he had to come back to conservation.
Yeah.
But to
That's
file
it.
the
There you
same
go.
plan,
That was it.
not to change the plan.
now, from what I heard on the video, he wants to shrink it.
They're being nice, they're not making him pay fines and stuff right now, they're giving him added time. By letting him come in here and just file with
But we-
you and not costing them a lot of money. They could fine them right now, but we're not pushing
An-
for that
an
at this
enforcement
point. We
order could
just
be put
want
in
things
place for
done right.
non-compliance.
You know, we all agreed on that set of plans. And we thought it was all set, you know. We
Okay.
backed off the town bylaws.
May I ask this question?
Yes,
Yes, of course.
A set of plans. What simple thing could be done just to rectify?
These
He just-
plans, this
he-
is
all
what
he
he's
just needs-
No, don't, sorry.
All
What
Mr.
simple
Page-
thing can be done to rectify the situation? He wants to finish his yard. Can't he do that?
He can do it with the plan he
these are the
submitted.
plans.
Okay, fine.
unfortunately, I don't
But
know.
But the
I remember
problem,
he
the
said-
problem, the issue is that, as I understood it from his discussion, but I don't really understand, he allowed the DEP order to expire.
To
He
expire
did it
after
on
he-
Doesn't give him a right to
He
all,
can't do anything, really,
That's right.
He's
That's
stuck,
right.
yes, and I don't,
And the superseding order isn't on their deed either, so he shouldn't have been doing any work.
yeah, well, that's,
That's-
an issue with DEP.
But-
But as I understand it, that was the issue, so he has to restart.
Mr.
We were
Yeah.
taking that
He's gonna restart his.
to
Mr.
conservation commission.
Mr.
This
Page-
goes back to the old board. You know what we went through with them? They all
And we-
resigned and because there's a lot of favoritism shown and that, but I don't get
we're
that.
just-
We know.
We're trying to just
Okay.
understand, and.
well, and this is why we
truly-
don't want to drag this out again. We want them to be able to finish their yard. That's why we didn't go back to DEP and make an issue and ask for fines or anything else. We just want them to stay to the plan that they submitted and we all agreed to in court.
Mom,
We understand.
Just like when Randolph, the people next door came up and they wanted to call it, sit down the roots, what do you call it?
Grind 'em.
Vinyl,
Right.
thank you. Basically, yeah, but you can't do that one because you don't even own that property. They had cut, there's a wedge of unincorporated land that they actually graded.
But nobody owns, and they didn't care about that, they
Because
just
they
did
didn't
it.
even have their property surveyed before they
Mom,
went crazy.
Dad,
All right.
we wrote up a statement
All right.
because emotions are high and this
I'm
is,
sorry.
we
So
don't.
Did
We
did you
thank you
finish
for
your
listening to us.
statement?
The end of the statement is, Mr. Page admitted that he purposefully and willfully missed the deadline for the superseding order. This is a clear violation of the Wetland Protection Act. Mr. Page, DEP, Superior Court, and ourselves all agreed on the Morse plan. The only thing we're asking is we're asking to do what he was supposed to do. That's it. The Morse plan dated 5/13/13 should be the plan that is held and should be filed for. It should be noted that the new wetlands delineation can't be performed, I already stated that. If anything besides the plan that was previously accepted gets submitted, it should be thrown out. Mr. Page has a responsibility to restore the area which he disturbed, what was ordered by DEP in their superseding order, and what Superior Court upheld. They cannot just allow a superseding order to expire so that they can get sent back to the town so he can circumvent what he was supposed to do in the first place. We do not want this dragged out for another 3 years. They need to abide by the 2013 plan.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
thank you for
And-
giving us a little bit of time to vent.
That's fine, and, you know, you will be notified
Yeah,
if,
the right
if,
to
if and
Oh,
when they
we-
file.
I mean, basically.
We know, but it's.
The site
that's
visit,
why-
It
as
shouldn't
I
have
said,
taken this
if you
long.
want to come out and
It
look at
really
both
shouldn't.
sides.
There'll be,
Yes.
coming out, once the, like we said, the snow is clear
Well,
and we
it
can
is
see.
it is clear in that area right now, you can, see the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, but our backyard still got snow.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
But it's not that
the land
high.
and us, so it'll be at least another. probably
But you
I mean,
notice,
truthfully-
you notice they're not the same rocks that were there. And we got pictures showing that, this is.
Okay.
And
Very
I
good.
mean, I
And where
much
do
would
these
rather
two-man
be
rocks
old.
go to? I can't move them.
All right, guys.
Thank
You'll-
you.
You'll get notified when you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Super.
Thank you.
We wrote a statement because it's gonna get emotional. Thank
So we
you.
got any correspondence, Jerry?
I gotta steal one. Do you have any correspondence?
You guys are funny.
Here we go. While you guys are reading it, building permits, there were no wetlands involved. Has everybody looked at the
Yep.
minutes at the last meeting and read it? Someone make a motion?
Motion to accept minutes as written.
For March 12th,
For March 12th.
2018.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Second,
Okay.
and I,
Oh, sorry, I thought you seconded it. So we're gonna try to have a joint meeting with the surplus land committee? Is that what what I'm reading from
Mhm.
this? Okay. That's good.
Question about that. Didn't we appoint Jim to be on that commission? To be our liaison for that commission? I know we,
that was for the Griffin's Dairy in that part.
no, when Jim
Long time
Dombrowski
ago.
came in and.
5, 6
was-
years ago.
Brought all the surplus land stuff, he
Mhm.
said, we should appoint somebody from our
Mhm.
commission.
Well, it might be worth having a joint meeting just so that we meet
Yeah.
them all, rather than just have one-on-one
Well,
because.
this is what happens in the last
Right.
couple, 3 weeks, because it started with an email to me, and then it went on,
Should see
and
it, sorry.
Thank you.
now he wants to have a meeting with Conservation and Selectmen.
But it's not gonna be a joint meeting
No.
with selectmen, it's
Yeah.
just.
Just between us and surplus? Yeah.
The selectmen are asking too.
That's
so
it.
maybe-
Yeah, 'cause I think we should-
I don't know if it's just Jim coming in,
But-
Dombrowski.
But we should get to see what they have,
Yeah.
so that we actually can make an educated, have an
Yeah,
educated
he's gonna give us the
conversation.
material that he mentioned in here.
Good.
Yeah, so, and I'll contact him tomorrow and I'll get copies to you guys.
Sure,
Good.
that's great.
Okay, super.
Hey, Nancy, you sent out an email that, they're trying to set up a pre-construction hearing for Route 18. I
Yeah.
think the issue this board has is that, later in the day meeting, and did you?
I let them know that, like evening and they haven't gotten back.
Because they have an
just said-
agent in Weymouth, so she's available
Yeah,
during the
but
day.
they said it's probably gonna be during the day, because the DEP does sidewalks and stuff, when they have established the date and time, they'll let us know, but, you know.
Well, that's kind of dumb, sorry.
Yeah.
Because and did we ever get a stormwater management plan for the property? Giosa was gonna, they sent a stormwater management plan for all of Route 18. It was that binder that you had for Route 18. But Giosa was gonna send us one for the property, because I really think we wanna take a look at it. But I don't think we got it, because you would have let us know, Nancy.
I honestly don't remember.
Right, could you
I'll
look?
have to look.
Look,
I
and
know
if
we
you,
got
if you
something,
don't.
I don't know if it was,
If we didn't,
if
or
it
the.
was for 18
It was
of
for
their
there was
property.
one for all of 18, but there was supposed to be a separate one for the property. I want you guys to note that there is a pile in the front of the property with plastic that's flapping, was flapping in the wind. They have been digging both at the gas station in Route 18 and the gas area at the terminal. My question is it has waste? Why? And it was poorly, it's right in the front of the property. And one day, with the wind, it was a very light piece of plastic that didn't cover the whole thing. But it should
Is it still
have,
that way, Kathy?
the plastic's kind of flying.
Flying around?
I think if I recall, they were supposed to put, the socks around it. They may not be able to seat it, but it's been sitting there a while. I don't know what it is. My gut is it could be hazardous waste, and if it is, I would like to see, it's right next to the wetland that's in the front of the property that they're gonna take out with the road.
I'll grab Russ and we'll take a ride by tomorrow.
Yeah,
No,
you'll see it. It's right in the front. It's right in the front.
Someday,
Yeah.
a couple
It
days.
should be covered.
It should be covered somehow with a better piece of plastic regardless, but I think I don't know if I don't think there's socks down at the
Oh,
bottom
okay.
either, but it could be.
Yeah.
But I also didn't think they were gonna put I was hoping that we wouldn't see hazardous waste on our property, that
Yeah.
it would stay at the properties that it belonged on, but it could be, because I do know there was a number of spots along the road that
All right,
had some material. So that was it.
all right. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion, so we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Second, yes, aye.
No. I abstain.
You abstain from closing the